What is going on, YouTube people? Today we are going to talk about how Marvel and Magic the Gathering broke the internet for a few hours on Monday afternoon with the Secret Lair drop. This was the first basically product release for the Marvel / Magic the Gathering collaboration. Think of Secret Lairs kind of like Tops now. Not exactly, but they're not pack pulled. They are sometimes bundled together. They are sometimes print to order, sometimes limited release. This one was a limited release. Log on to the website, buy it. You know exactly what you're getting. In this case, there was 5 different sets, each one featuring a different character, and then a handful of cards to go with each character. There was 6 cards total for each character. There was a foil version for $50, a non-foil version for $40, and then bundle packs where you could get, one full set of either foiled or non-foiled or, whatever you wanted. There was also a limited promo card that if you spent over $200, you got that thrown in for free. So, there are full releases coming later in 2025. The first full set that'll have booster boxes and collector boxes and the whole 9 yards is going to be Spider-Man themed. That is all we really know at this point. And there has been a Doctor Strange promo card that was given out at New York Comic-Con and I forget which Magic convention the week after. And I don't know if that'll pop up again or not. I actually just recently picked up a couple of those. So this was the big debut. They had been getting out in front of it with, hey, this is not printed demand like we sometimes do. This is going to be a limited release. We expect demand to be high. We expect this to sell out. Basically, pumping the FOMO up before the drop even happened. I made sure I was logged into my account, the whole 9 yards, at noon Eastern when it went live. I did it on my phone because I was at work. Add to the cart right at noon. I went for 2 foil bundles. The Astonishing Foil Bundles, which is a complete set of all 5 heroes, all the cards that come with it, all in foil. They were $250 a pop. I snagged 2 of those. I figured I'd have 1 to keep and maybe 2 to keep, or if I wanted to flip 1. The limit was 5. Now, a lot of people want play sets of this stuff because it's Magic, which is 4 cards, so I could see why they would set a limit for 5. I went for 2. I didn't want to be too crazy. I didn't want to tie up that much money just in case. I didn't think it would flop at the outside chance. And, I didn't want to buy 4 sets, and that's $1,000 tied up in Magic Marvel stuff. So this stuff does ship pretty quickly. So immediately at noon, it throws you into a queue. And there's a little guy walking across the screen, and I hate this little bastard. This is a very similar experience to how they do New York Comic Con tickets, panels, and autograph signings. And I have sworn this little man a ton of times in my life. And here he was back in it. I did not expect it for this. So you get into the queue. I was looking at Spidey Hits Discord just to kind of see where everyone else was ending up at. And immediately it was, you have longer than an hour wait. I was like, oh boy, here we go. A few minutes of walking my little gentleman walk across the bottom of the screen. All of a sudden, line paused pops up. Everybody gets that. The website crashed for a good solid 25 minutes. Now, if you were in the queue, you were safe, but they paused checkouts and putting people in, the whole thing, the whole kit and caboodle. They called a timeout, basically, because the entire system went nutty. That took almost a half an hour. I entered the queue at noon, and then I was driving around for work, doing some stuff, checking my phone periodically. Finally came back up after about a half an hour, and the line started moving again. Then it started bouncing around. It would say I was sitting at still for more, it was like an hour later, like around 1 o'clock, it was still saying I had an hour plus to go. Then it dropped down into, you're at about 30-ish minutes for a hot minute, and then it bounced back up over to an hour. And it would play this game most of the 1 to 2 o'clock hour. Finally, we started to get some traction around 1:30. I kind of pulled off to the side. for the last few minutes, and then it kind of ran off and finished up in a relatively, once it got like below 20 minutes, it seemed to be moving at a fairly decent clip. I ended up checking out around 2 o'clock. So 2 full hours after the queue opened. About an hour and a half of sales, though, because it was down for a half an hour. By the time I got checked out, the promos were gone. Everything else was still in stock. I could have adjusted my quantities. I just stuck at the 2 sets. I check out, pay, get the confirmation email. We're good. And then I kind of stopped paying attention. I got some stuff I got to do at the office. And then I start checking in with people. Hey, did you get yours? Yeah, I got it. Did you get promos? No, I didn't. Yeah, I did. Just depending on when you got checked out. And a couple people, I got off work at 3 o'clock, had messaged me, and they're like, I'm still in the queue. And I'm like, what? So I looked. By that time, by around the 3 o'clock hour, things had started to sell out, or it said low quantities available. By the time I got home and situated, I was just getting ready to head out and cut the grass because I had a bunch of leaves to chop up. I look, and basically the entire thing was wiped out in about 4 hours. And a lot of people got skunked, which sucks. Imagine dealing with the queue for 3.5, 4 hours, and you get nothing, sir, to quote Willy Wonka. That would suck. Now, you didn't really have to babysit it per se. I was checking in on it about every 10 or 15 minutes. I would just glance at my phone. You didn't have to refresh the page. It would automatically update. So I just kept that browser tab open on my iPhone, and it was all good. So it wasn't like I was sitting there staring at a monitor for 4 straight hours, but I'm sure there are people that were, and that would have been super annoying. So they all sold out. So of course, what do? Let's go over and look at eBay. I want to update this just to kind of see where we're at. At present time, I am recording this a little bit prior to 7 p.m. on Monday night, the day they went on sale. This is the promo. Looks like there's a non-foil version of it. Cheapest buy it now, $60. Foil version, cheapest buy it now, $75. I don't know if I'm going to go after one of these or not. It's the Avengers Tower. It's a fine looking card. It's nothing super crazy. Now we have some sets. It looks like non-foils, the cheapest available, are sitting at around $75. Looks like foil are around $95. Best offer or buy it now. The foil sets were $50 to buy. The non-foils were $40 to buy. So you could kind of see what the present markup is. I am on buy it now specifically. There are 209 listed. So if you decide to quick flip it, you're going to make a little bit of profit. Let's assume it goes for, I don't know, 95 instead of 90, since they are sitting at 95. If you factor in some eBay fees on that, you're looking at about $80. You paid $50 plus tax. You got free shipping on it. You're maybe making about $20 a set, $25 a set, depending on if you charge shipping or not for where it's going. So not the worst thing in the world for basically not having to leave your basement. Let's see what the actual sales look like here. Let's go to ended recently and see where we stack up. So yeah, it looks like $75 to $90. Here's a foil cap that went for $75. So really on that one, you're not making much at all. Now here's a set that sold. So those were $250. This sold for $400. See, maybe about $100-ish bucks on that. Not too shabby for just basically making a trip to the post office. So that's kind of where we're sitting at right now. I think it's going to take some time for this to play itself out. And this inventory is going to have to get sucked up a little bit before you start seeing prices move. Because right now, we're still in race to the bottom territory. And I have no idea what the long-term value of this stuff is going to be. If it's going to be, air quote, worth investing in or holding or whatever. Nobody has any damn idea. If they tell you differently, they are just lying and making it up to you. We are just YouTubers / content creators. We have no ungodly idea what is going to happen to the prices of these things. And this is kind of, Secret Lair is not new, but this Secret Lair Marvel collab definitely is. The one thing that this does show, though, is there is a lot of demand for this collaboration. And it is going to be very interesting to see what happens next year when we actually get a full released product. And the first one out of the gates is Spider-Man. The collector booster boxes for that are probably going to be silly expensive. There's probably going to be a huge chase. I wouldn't be surprised if they did numbered cards or some crazy comic book variant covers. The whole 9 yards, we're going to see it all. And the fact that they're kicking off with a Spider-Man set and not just a general Marvel set tells me, and that's all they've announced, but that tells me that they're going to be doing this for a while. Because if you weren't, you would just do a general Marvel release and want to get as many of the high-powered characters in there if you only had one shot at this. The fact that the first set is Spider-Man tells me that we're going to get a Spider-Man set, an Avengers set, an X-Men set, this set, that set, a God knows what else, depending on how much they kind of want to thin it out and water it down. There are a ton of different angles that they could take with Marvel properties to do different themed Magic sets around it. They could run this collaboration out for a while. You only get so many sets in a year, and some of them are already, you're going to get your standard sets mixed in. So there's only so many sets that can release in a year. So this tells me we are probably going to be looking at Marvel Magic releases for the foreseeable future. So kind of keep that in mind as well as we kind of chart down this in the uncharted territory with this collaboration. The other thing that's been going crazy, and this is not an area I pay any attention to, it is a whole other world. Since we're on release day, the artists started selling their original artwork for these pieces, in a lot of cases oil paintings, and they are selling for astronomical sums of money. I mean, insane amounts of money. Maybe in the OA world, original art world, it's not a lot. I don't know. A lot of them are running auctions on them that run for a week through various Facebook groups. Some of them right out of the gate were $15,000 to $20,000 plus, if not more, for the original artwork. Like I said, that is a whole other bag of cats that I don't know much, if anything, about. I appreciate it for what it is. It is a true one of one. It is the original piece of art that the artist did, that the card was designed off of. It's really cool. In comic books, that stuff sells for huge money. In Marvel cards, it goes for decent money, but not crazy. Marvel or Magic original art seems to be on another level. For the Marvel card collectors coming into this space, Magic is a much bigger playing field than Marvel. So you're going to have demand coming from places that you are not expecting, because the Magic fan base for original art, for the cards, for the sets is massive. Way bigger than the Marvel card audience. So all of a sudden, you're going to get a big level up in pricing on specifically stuff like the original art. But I think we could see it on cards and boxes as well, depending on what the cards look like and the sets. We'll have to see how that plays out. But you're in the big leagues now when you are talking about the market for Magic the Gathering cards. That is a whole nother level that just straight Marvel card collectors might not be used to. So I would expect some craziness there. Now, the flip side of that, I think, is as well, I do think Marvel card specific collectors coming into Magic specifically for this product is going to drive a lot of demand. I could definitely see that driving demand for sealed product and for some of the singles for people that just want to collect the cards and have no interest in adding them to a deck or playing with it or whatever. So a lot of fun angles on this one. TCG in general right now is, in the card space, probably the hottest thing going. Specifically Pokemon and modern Magic sets on the sealed side are going crazy. Pokemon is absolutely off the rails right now. I might do a video just doing a kind of a high level version of it later this week. There's a new set, Surging Sparks, that's come out, and it's absolutely crazy. Since I started buying Pokemon booster boxes the last couple of years, I've never seen anything like this. It's absolutely wild what the prices of that product are doing before it even hits the shelves. So crazy times out in the Pikachu and the Black Lotus world. We will see where it all takes us. I'm excited for this. Like I said, I've been a big Magic the Gathering fan since I was in middle school. Started playing in Revised and have been on and off throughout my entire life to various degrees. And the artwork, the artists, the design of the cards, I think is going to be absolutely fantastic. And I am sure they've got some crazy stuff they are cooking up for the collector booster boxes. So I'm excited to see where all this goes. Expect to see more content on the channel around this as we get closer to the Spider-Man release next year. We'll continue. It's not going to be like you're going to get a video every week on Magic all of a sudden now, but do expect it to get sprinkled in here and there as we move closer and closer to that release. That's all I got for you, boys and girls. Catch you on the next one. Peace.